Hello everyone, this is Mila. Today I will be reading What Creates Free Radicals? Excessive exercise. In the antioxidant revolution, Dr. Kenneth Cooper emphasized the facts that exclusive exercise can significantly increase the amount of free radical our body produces. Dr. Cooper became quite concentrated when he saw several strength exercising die permanently of heart attack, strokes, and cancer. These are individuals who may have run 30 or 40 marathons in their lifetime while at the same time having length daily workout. During this research for the antioxidant book, Dr. Cooper realized the potential harm that over-exercising could bring. When we're exercising mildly or moderately, the number of free radicals you and I produce go up only slightly. In contrast, when we exercise exclusively, the number of free radicals we produce go off the graph, increasing exponentially. The antioxidant revolution concludes by warning readers that exclusive exercise can actually be harmful to our health, especially if we continue over several years. Dr. Cooper recommended a moderate exercise program for everyone, but he also suggests that everyone take antioxidant supplementation. Only serious athletes should undertake strength exercise, and they should balance it with significant amounts of antioxidant supplement. Excessive stress. As we exercise, a mild or moderate amount of emotional stress produces only a slightly increase in free radical. Several emotional stress, however, cause the numbers of free radical to rise significantly. Create oxidative stress. Have you ever noticed that when you are under a lot of pressure, you frequently become sick? However, many times you know a closest friend or family member who has been under tremendous stress for a prolonged period of time only to discover he has developed cancer or had a first heart attack. I don't have many patients who have run multiple marathons in their life, but I have hundreds of patients who are under prolonged emotional stress. Financial, work, personal pressure have so complicated our lives that emotional stress is the most pressing health factor I deal with in my practice. Once you begin to understand in the series of oxidative stress, you begin to appreciate the dangerous effect of long-term emotional pressure on our health. You can begin to counteracting it. Air pollution. The environment has tremendously influence on the amount of free radical our body produces. Air pollution is the major cause of oxidative stress in our lungs and in our bodies. When you drive into any major city today, you not only can see the thick haze, you can taste it. I remember many medical school days at University of Colorado Medical School in 1970. During my rotation on the neurology unit, I had to make run at 6 a.m. Before I start, I would walk down to the west window and admire the sunrise reflect its lights on the beautiful Rocky Mountain. I then quickly began my runs, which took about 2 hours each day. When I was finished, I would run back to that beautiful view of the mountain before my first clinical literature. To my amazement, I usually could not even see the mountain by then. All I could see were some white outline through the thick red haze? What a dramatic change occurred during the 2-hour people commute to their works. The health effects of air pollution have caused significant concern. Air pollution contain ozone, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and sulfur hydroxide molecule, all of which generate a significant amount of free radical. When you are exposed to those toxins day in and day out, they have majority effects on your health. Air pollution being implicated in the cause of asthma, chronic bronchitis, heart attack, even cancer. Understanding oxidative stress as the underlying cause of all these diseases allows us to develop a strategy of protecting ourselves from the damaging effects of air pollution. We must understand another aspect of air pollution, the occupation exposure to mineral dust such as asbestos fibers. The addition of iron-contaminating fibers in asbestos can generate even more free radical. Long-term exposure has been shown to cause lung cancer and intestinal fibrosis, a serious scarring of the lung. There are many other occupation hazards. Farmers are exposed to fine dust in their barns and grain bins. Industrial workers are exposed to various chemical fine dust in their work. Needless to say, the quality of air we breathe in majority health consideration. Cigarette smoke. One might anticipate that smog or chemical pose the biggest threat to our health on a daily basis. But would you believe the greatest cause of oxidative stress in our body is cigarette and cigar smoke? It's true. Smoking has been associated with the increase of asthma, emphysema, chronic bronchitis, lung cancer, cardiovascular disease. We are all aware of health condition and health consequence of smoking. It's fascinating to realize that the underlying problem is the amount of oxidative stress smoking produces in our body. Cigarette smoke contains several different toxins, all of which increase the amount of free radical appearing not only in our lungs but also throughout our body. No other habits or addiction affects overall health more dramatically than smoke. I know of nothing more addictive than nicotine. When Dr. G. Evers Coops, the U.S. Surgeon General, called smoking an addiction rather than a habit. He forever changed the way we look at smoke. How? He informed the public that the addictive quality of nicotine, which the tobacco companies supposed knowing about for half a century. In fact, strong evidence exists that saying you become addicted to nicotine within 2 to 3 weeks. It is any wonder that it's so different for people to quit smoke. I have found it's much more difficult for patients to stop smoking than stop drinking alcohol. I believe an absurd, far-reaching cost to our health that is cigarette smoke cost is far more than we can determine it. What about secondary smoke? Medical research now proves that individuals who are exposed to significant secondary smoke have an increased risk of asthma, emphysema, heart attack, even lung cancer. This is the reason so many laws have been passed restricting cigarette smoke in the public. Have you recently been exposed to a group of people smoking in confined area? I recall driving my daughter back from college this past month. I had to stop in a small town to fill up the car with gas. When I was walking into the station to pay for the gas, 6 local residents were sitting around a small table, all smoking cigarettes as they sipping coffee. I could hardly take a breath without a cough. I actually began to feel sick for those who are not accustomed to cigarette smoke. Its effects are more clearly recognizable. I'm sure there are times and situations that you have similar experience. It doesn't take much imagination to realize if you are exposed to secondary smoke on a daily basis. It will have a majority impacts on your health. Pollution of our food and water. Are you thirsty? In 1988, the U.S. Department of Public Health warned us that 85% of American drinking water is contaminated. And I can hardly believe things have gotten better over the past decade. More than 50,000 different chemicals now contaminating our water supplies. Here's a frightening fact. The average water supplies complaint can test for only 30 to 40 of this chemical. In addition, heavy metals such as lead, cadmium, and aluminum contaminate most of our water supplies. More than 55,000 regulate chemical dump in America. In addition to estimate 200,000 unregulated chemical dumps are leaking into the water table across the nation. When we ingest this contaminating water, the production of free radicals increased tremendously significant. Americans have resorted to drink bottled, filtered, and distilled water in unprecedented amount today. But you can know this aspect of distilled water. You have no way of knowing the quality of water you are paying so clearly for since it's entire under-regulated market. Since the Second World War, more than 60,000 new chemicals have been introduced into our environment. No less than 1,000 new fungal chemicals are introduced to our environment each year. Herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides are the use of production of most of our food and medical research, showing us that all of these chemicals create increased oxidative stress we consume them. Some are more dangerous than another, but they are all potential health risks. These chemicals allow our food industry to produce the most abundant food supply even known. But what is the cost to our health? Ultraviolet sunlight. It is known fact that people get 2/3 of their lifetime sun exposure to their skin prior to their 20th birthday. This means you, the reader of this book, have most likely already exposed your skin to sun-damaging ultraviolet rays. Several different studies have shown ultraviolet light to produce increased free radical in human skin. This term has been proven to produce damage to the DNA in the cells of our skin, which lead to skin cancer, This study proving the best direct evidence that oxidative stress leads to development of cancer. UVB light is the primary culprit responsible for the sun's burning rays. But both UVA and UVB lights increase free radical production in the skin and thus oxidative stress in the skin. When you apply your favorite sunscreen, which contains an SPF rating of 30 or greater, you are protecting yourself primarily against UVB light. This allows us to stay out in the sun longer because we are not getting sunburned. But this sunscreen do not offer much, if any, protection against UVA light, which creates significant more free radical deeper in the skin. This may in part explain why we have seen a 5-fold increase in almost every skin cancer over the past 20 years. We are finally seeing sunscreen on the market that offer protection against both UVA and UVB sunscreen. Obviously, this is the kind of sunscreen you want to purchase to protect yourself and your children against both being sunburned and develop skin cancer. I will encourage everyone to keep watching eyes on the skin for any unusual growth or change in pigment modes. Medication and radiation. Every medication I prescribe causes an increase of oxidative stress in the body. Chemotherapies, drugs, radiation therapies primarily works by creating oxidative stress damage to the cancer cell, which kill them. This is the main reason patients find them drugs therapies so hard to tolerate. The increased oxidative stress also causes collareate damage to normal cells. It is important to remember that every drug is essentially a foreign substance to the body, and the body has to work hardly to try to metabolize and eliminate. This puts increased demand on many of metabolism pathways in the liver and the body as a whole. Those increased production of free radical take place on the potential to create oxidative stress growth. The industrial world of 21st century has become over-dependent on medication. The consumption of medication in the US in the world is obviously in an all-time high. Even though every drug has been tested and shows provide benefits, each also carries an inherent risk. Serious adverse drugs reactions are the fourth leading cause of death in the United States. It is true, properly prescribed and administered medication are responsible for more than 100,000 deaths and 2 million hospital admissions in the US each year. Much of inherited risk of medication is due to the oxidative stress these drugs can patently produce. More than 17 chronic degenerative diseases are the direct results of the toxic effects of oxygen. In other words, the root cause of this disease is oxidative stress. Medical science has now shown that the underlying cause of this terrible disease we all fear within the coming of age is the unsuspected dark side of oxygen. If you have ever restored an old car, you have encountered the determined effects of rust. It can weaken and deteriorate of the earliest, strongest metal, and like an abandoned vehicle out in a field, our body literally begin to rust if they are not protected. A slow corrosion begins in our body and like a weak spot in metal. Whichever part of body worn out first determine which type of degenerative disease we may develop. Fortunately, not only do our body possess a tremendously antioxidant defense system, they also possess a remarkable repair system. The next chapter explains how this mesh unit is able to repair the inevitable consequences of the war that is raging within every cell in our body. Thank you for watching. Next chapter, I will be reading Winning the War Within. I will see you next time.